Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. Nice to see you guys all in the chat room there. I am Felicia from SweetGeorgia, and this is the live stream that we do once a month for this YouTube channel. So excited to see you guys all here. Fantastic. So it is a wonderful sunny day, not too hot in Vancouver. It has been a crazy, crazy couple of days with a bit of a heat wave. It's been quite hot. We have actually a ton of things to talk about today. And so I have a ton of things actually positioned right next to me here, right here. I have stuff to show you, lots of things to talk about. So I'm really, really excited that you guys are all here today. Fantastic. All of you guys here in the chat room. Thank you. It's nice to see you all. Now, I am hoping, let me know if you guys can hear me okay, can see me okay, all of those things, and we can get started with all of the things. So, it has been a very, very busy summer so far. I can't actually believe that it's already past the middle of August. We are getting so close to the start of school again, which is kind of crazy. It has been an extremely busy couple of weeks. I've been doing a lot of traveling. I've been traveling with my family, and I talked about that before. I talked about how, oh, maybe we wouldn't have a chance to come together and do this live stream in August because there was going to be so much traveling. But this is kind of like the one week where I'm catching up a little bit on a whole bunch of things. And so the last time I think that we chatted, I was talking about, oh, I needed a project to take with me on my travels, and what was I going to work on, and what would be portable, and all these kinds of things. And so in the end, I decided to bring just one project everywhere. I've only been working on one thing alone, and that's been a sweater that I'm going to show you guys a little bit later. But basically, I am making the Alpine Bloom sweater, which is designed by Caitlin Hunter. I love her designs. I've knit a number of her designs already. It's really a lovely pattern. So far, so good. I have 5 more rows of color work yoke, and then I am ready to just knit the body, and then it will be almost done. So I'm hoping that it will be done for Knit City. So Knit City, you guys know, is the big yarn festival, the big fiber arts festival that happens in Vancouver every year. It's in September. I believe it's a September 25, 26, 27, that weekend. And so I am getting ready to bring I'm going to hopefully wear my sweater to Knit City, and it'll be really, really exciting. So we're going to be there for that. We are, again, SweetGeorgia is hosting the lounge again for the Knit City. And this year we're going to do a little bit of a different kind of a lounge. We're not going to do such a massive lounge anymore. We're going to do a really cozy lounge where we can invite everybody to sort of get up closer and see demos and see the different fiber arts that we do closer up and more in person. So we're going to do more demos. We're going to do hopefully a meetup. So with our school members, we're going to arrange a time where we can do a meetup, and hopefully everybody can come and come and hang out there. So if you guys are in the Vancouver area near the end of September, I really, really encourage you guys to come out to Knit City and join us for that. We have been a sponsor of that event since the day that it started, and just so excited that this year we'll be back to like full normal, sort of normal where you can just come in and spend the whole day with all of your yarn friends and all of the yarn and fiber and everything like that. So really, really excited about that as well. So I've been working on this knitting project for the past couple of weeks, been sort of monogamous about this particular project. I'm very excited about it because it does include my hand spun in it. And like maybe many of you guys, over all of July, we're doing a lot of spinning. We're spinning for Tour de Fleece. We're spinning a lot of this yarn, getting into the habit of spinning every day. And I was, because I wasn't traveling in July. So July, in the evenings, I would spend quite a bit of time at my spinning wheel every night and spin either singles, and then I would rewind all the singles onto storage bobbins. Then I would ply from the storage bobbins using either the e-spinner, the Ashford e-spinner 3 that I have, Or yeah, I was actually mostly plying on the e-spinner, and that was really convenient because I could save the wheel for all the singles and save the e-spinner for all of the plying. And so that was really efficient doing all of that. And we talked a lot on our Sweet Georgia Discord channel. There was a lot of chat about tour de fleece, about spinning, about, you know, fiber prep, all of these kinds of things. I'm really excited to see all the spinning that everybody did. Now, one of the things that you will know is that July, I had my birthday in July, and as a little bit of a last minute thing, on a not entirely on a whim, but it was kind of on a bit of a, what do they call it? Like a wing and a prayer or something like that. It was just kind of throwing it out there. But I had seen this incredible, amazing, beautiful 3D printed cone winder when I was at the Erlbacher Crank Inn in May. And I looked it up. This is a cone winder that's called the Sunfire, and it was designed by a man named Dave Hulster. And so, oh, there goes my phone. And so this Sunfire cone winder is a beautiful thing. It was available for people to look at and try and test at the Crank-In. And I had seen it on the Facebook groups before. People were talking about it, people wanted it. And so Dave had designed this 3D printed cone winder, but he was not manufacturing them. He made one, or he's made like a number of prototypes, but he was making all of the designs available for everybody so that you could print your own. And so I think I had mentioned in the school live office hours how I was wanting to get into 3D printing this summer because I thought, oh, you know, I could print all these fiber arts tools like bobbins for the like for the EEW, for the Nano, for these e-spinners. I could print my own bobbins, I could print my own weaving tools. But in the back of my mind, what I really wanted was I wanted to be able to print the Sunfire cone winder. But the more I looked into it, I was like, it is kind of a challenging project. It is not a first timers 3D printing project because you need to sort of like print a little bit and then pause and then insert hardware and bearings and metal pieces, and you have to cut and solder metal pieces, and then you have to continue with the printing and then add more pieces, and it just sounded really, really overwhelmingly intimidating. But luckily, there are people actually who are doing the 3D printing of these cone winders, and they are amazing. They are wonderful. So really what I wanted to share with you is that I got one of the 3D printed Sunfires. This one was printed by Christina Saldana. She has an Etsy store, and her Etsy store is Cassandra's Place Store. So if you want to look her up on Etsy, she has been making a lot of these Sunfires for customers, but she took a waiting list at the start when this first came out. She took a waiting list, and as soon as I saw the waiting list on Facebook, it had filled up and was closed. So then I kind of reached out to her again. And so now what she's doing is she is going to print sort of batches of 10 machines and post 10 machines at a time. And she'll post them on the store when they're available. And then people can sort of like go through them that way. But I'm very excited about this cone winder. I think the reason why I'm so excited about the cone winder is because it makes the yarn look so pretty and so easy to work from. So this is my hand spun. This is my hand spun. This is the Trail Runner colorway, the new Trail Runner colorway. This one happens to be BFL silk. And so you can see like there's a little bit of a shine to the yarn. I am in love with it. I just love seeing it formatted in this way. Um, it's mesmerizing to watch, especially hand dyed colors, hand spun colors, you know, having them align in this way on a cone winder is just so pretty. It's just so pretty. This is just, oh, it's just so pretty. But in any case, why would you want your stuff to be in cones, right? You can use a ball winder and knit from a ball winder. That's totally fine. When you have time to manage taking yarn out of a ball, off a cake, all of that kind of stuff, you're going to be knitting perfectly fine. But the thing is that because I'm doing a lot of machine knitting now, I'm knitting with flatbed knitting machines, and I'm knitting with the sock knitting machine. All of those use yarn very quickly. It just burns through yarn quickly. And so when you need to get the yarn to come off of your package very quickly, a cone is a nice way for it to come off. It comes off much more evenly, much more consistently. And so this is why knitting from with a knitting machine off of a cone is a better combination than trying to knit from a ball to a machine. So in any case, there's that. Also, if you want to wind a warp, having your yarn come off of a cone really, really consistently is also better for the tension when you're winding a warp as well. So in any case, that's what the Trail Runner colorway looks like. I also have, this one is my beachside brunch. So that's my yarn there. This one is a 3-ply. Actually, this one is also a 3-ply. And then this one was my 2-ply yarn of gemstone. So this 2-ply yarn, this is the yarn that's actually, if you follow my Low Meets Loom, Instagram account, I have been posting photos of overshot weaving. I'm weaving an overshot sampler, and this is the hand spun yarn that I am using for that overshot sampler. It's been really fun to use hand spun in my weaving. Yes, so someone is asking, I have a 1990s Silver Needles cone winder. Yes. Oh, yes, Juliet, you're saying I haven't, yes. So I originally, in 2009, also had a Silver Needles cone winder. And then I thought that I didn't need it anymore, and so I sold it, and now you can't get them. And I've been on a waiting list for about 4 years for a cone winder and still cannot get it. So that's part of the reason why I was so obsessed with the Sunfire. And I've recorded other video about this, and we'll talk about it again, but I'm very, very excited. And I just wanted to really quickly share that with you all. So that has been happening behind the scenes, this Sunfire cone winder thing, weaving with hand spun and making more hand spun. And so because we've all been making so much hand spun all of this past summer, one of the things that we decided to do is we are going to host, together with Debbie Held, one of our spinning instructors, we are going to host a rigid heddle weave along this fall. And it is basically about using all of your hand spun and putting it into a rigid heddle loom so that you can weave with it. This is one of the things that we talk about quite often. And you know, Rachel Smith at Welford Pearls Wool & Spinning, she is also one of our spinning instructors on the School of SweetGeorgia. We talk about this a lot. Like, you need to use your hand spun in order to know what it does. Like, do you like the yarn that you've made? It's one thing to have it be in the skein and be pretty and all that kind of stuff, but when you actually go and work with it, when you actually knit with it, what does it feel like? Does it feel good? Do you like the result that you get when you use it? And if you don't like the result, then you go back to your spinning and you have to tweak and adjust your spinning in order to get the result that you want. And it's the same with your weaving. If you want a fabric like a scarf, a hand woven scarf, to feel a certain way, then you need to weave with it and see if it's going to produce that effect. And then if it's not producing the effect that you like, then you go back and you tweak your hand spun, and then you weave another sample and see how that goes. So working with a rigid heddle loom is a really super fast and easy way to test and prototype, you know, experiment with your yarn, try different things. Do you like your hand spun once it's been woven? And so this is something we want to do. The official start date is November 1st, and it'll run until November 30th. And Debbie is going to be there. She's going to be sort of cheering everybody on, talking about, you know, how do you determine your set? How much yardage might you need? All of these kinds of things. What do you need to know if you want to weave with your handspun yarn? And so we are going to do that inside the School of SweetGeorgia starting in November. And then at the end of that month, we're going to gather and do like a Zoom show and tell. So whatever you've made, we can sort of like hold them up and talk about them. And that's always the best and most fun part of all of this. So there's all of that that's been going on. Now, one thing I want to mention, because we are talking about the school, is you may or may not have seen some notices going out that we are going to be doing a price increase on the school starting on October 1st. So if you want to sign up for the school, and if you've been thinking about signing up, if you've been kind of holding off on signing up, or if you're already a member and you want to stay a member, then all of these things, it would be a great idea. It would be the best deal, really, is to sign up before the end of September. And that way you'll sort of lock in the rate that you're at now. And then we're going to increase the prices starting on October 1st. And we have been running since 2017 is when we started working on the schools, started building out the school. And we have not ever done a price increase in the past 6 years. So this is the first time. And really it is, our team has grown, our offerings have grown. We have almost 100 classes right now that you can take about any of the fiber arts on the school right now. And we also provide a lot of live support and community support and a lot of interaction and feedback. And so all of those kinds of things have grown over the past 5 or 6 years. It's been quite amazing. So we're really excited to welcome a ton of new people to the school this past sort of month. Yeah, this past month, and into September as well. So really looking forward to making things with you in the upcoming year. So that is it about the school. Now, one of the other things that, what else has been happening in this world, in this life, in this week, our mystery knit along has been happening. So at Sweet Georgia, we do a mystery knit along in the summers around August, September. And so this past week, we did the first clue drop. August 15th, the first clue went out. And so Tabitha hosted a Zoom call and did a little bit of a cast on party. And so if you are still interested in joining the mystery knit along for Sweet Georgia for this year, it is not too late to join. You can still get the pattern at any time and jump in and start. You might have to find some skeins of yarn that you might have already, or we can also send you a kit, but that'll take a little bit of time. But otherwise, yeah, it's been ongoing. So the MCAL, Ruth is saying, so excited to cast on for my MCAL shawl this weekend. Yes, the MCAL is on right now, and really looking forward to seeing what everybody does with that and where that all goes. So if you want to join, still time to start. Now, I feel like August seems like MCAL season because a lot of mystery knit alongs are going on right now. So there is another mystery knit along that has been hosted by Lisa K. Ross, and it's called the Secret Forest Mystery Knit Along. And so she reached out to us, and we're talking about like making kits to go with her mystery knit along. And so her mystery knit along requires 7 mini skeins and then 2 full skeins of fingering weight yarn. And so we created a couple of sets here. We have 2 colorway sets. This one is called Midnight Walk. These ones are sort of the elixir colors, 7 mini skeins of the elixir colors. And then this one here is the lighter version of that. So this one is called Sunset Cedars. And these ones are the ethereal versions of those elixir colors. So basically all you need is you could get either one of these sets or one of these sets, and then just add 2 skeins of fingering weight. So full-size fingering weight skeins. Yeah, you need 800 yards of a fingering weight yarn. And so that is a pattern that you can find on Ravelry right now. It's called Secret Forest MKAL, MKAL, but either this one or this one. And that's the kit that we've made for that Secret Forest mystery knit along. And so, yeah, you can find all the details about that on Ravelry. And Jenna's saying, I did Lisa's MCAL last year, the Mountain Musings, and it was beautiful. I highly recommend it. One of the best things I've ever knit. Oh, that's very nice. That's very high praise. Fantastic. So that is all MCAL stuff that's been going on. Now, what is the big thing that I have to talk to you guys about today? The big thing is that today, finally, we are launching the Enigma colors for our color system. So as you know, earlier last year, we started working on this color system, which was like redesigning all of the colors that we make for Sweet Georgia and starting with a very fundamental color palette. of, we have a color wheel of 18 colors. It's just a very consistent way of working with color because every color will theoretically go with every other color. You can pick any two colors and they will go together because they came from the same foundation. This is the basis of our whole color system idea. So we have this color wheel of all the element colors, and then we design these elixir colors, which are sort of these gorgeous, nuanced, muted mid-tone colors. And then, so like these are the elixir colors, like we just talked about. And then we made lighter versions of all those colors, which was the ethereal colors. And today we are launching all of the deeper, darker, saturated versions of those colors. So I have them here in front of me. I can only hold so many at a time, but this is one set of them. Ta-da! This is one set. It's just, there's 10 of them. I can only hold so many in my hand. And here are the others, okay? I'm going to talk about them individually. Yes, all the dark and moody shades are finally here. And these are the ones that I have been waiting to share with you guys because these are the ones that I feel like, well, I mean, I like these colors the best because I can wear them. And I love them. So I had previously talked about how I was making that sweater, the machine knit Fair Isle sweater. What was it called? The Studley sweater. And I made that one in this color called Tempest. And so this one I've been wanting to share for a while. So Tempest is the deep, dark, moody blue. And then we have Forest Walk, which is the deep, dark, moody green. These ones I'm showing you right now are all on Tough Love Sock. And so all of the yarn bases dye a little bit differently. This one is called Olive Branch and is the deeper, darker version of the boreal forest. So in all of these cases, it's basically like if you take one of the deep dark colors and then you mix them with the lighter version of that color, you can get a monochromatic, almost like a monochromatic gradient ombre effect if you're using these 2 or 3 different colors together. Or, use one of the deep dark colors and then mix it with a neutral, mix it with birch, mix it with silver or slate or charcoal or something like that. And it's just a really beautiful, easy way to combine colors. This one is our deep dark purple color. This one is called Night Call. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the movie called Drive. Ryan Gosling is in this movie. It is one of my all-time favorite movies. I will say that the last half of it is ultra-violent, so you might not like that. But the first half of this movie, Drive, is one of my absolute favorites. And so the song that plays at the beginning of the movie is called Night Call, and that's what this is based on. And then here we have the deep dark versions of Honey Gold. This one is called Brass. And then this one is called Bright Penny. It's kind of like a coppery color. I love this color. I love, love, love this color. Now, I don't know if our kids will even know what pennies are anymore. I know pennies have been discontinued in Canada. So I'm always curious if they're going to know what that is. And then here we have Red Truck, which is the deep dark version of Sangria. It's like a warm, it's a warm red, but a little bit on the oxblood plummy kind of side. And then here we have Lipstick and Gather. So Gather, you can see it's different from Night Call. The Night Call is more like a blue purple, and this is more like a red purple, but they are both deep, dark, moody purples. I like both of them. Yes, Joyce is saying, I love the penny colored one the best. I love it too. I love them all. Yes, the first 5 minutes of Drive are so intense. I love that movie. I could just rewatch the first half of that over and over again. Now, to show you what I have, where did I put it? Oh, it's right here. So this, just seeing them worked up a little bit, this is Lipstick, and it has been knit in our cottage red pattern. So this one is like a super, super easy, quick and easy triangle shawl, top down triangle shawl with a little bit of lace at the end of it. Nice, quick and easy. So that is in lipstick. This pattern we have available as well, designed by Tabitha. And yeah, so this is the lipstick color, so that you can actually imagine it if you were to wear a full garment with one of these deep dark colors, right? So the other thing, oh, the last color that I forgot to show you guys is this color. This one is called Rustic. Now, I talked before about how sort of the elixir colors were a bit of a color triangle, and then taking all of those colors and mixing them together. Usually when you mix colors from all different sides of the color wheel together, you get a muddy color. And people are trying to avoid that muddy color. They're like afraid of the muddy color. But the color that we get in the middle of that elixir blend, we called vintage. And then the lighter version of that is called old letters. So those are like colors that sound like they are muddy, but they really, in fact, go with everything. And they're beautiful, beautiful neutral color. It's a chromatic neutral. It just goes with everything. And so this color is the deep dark version of vintage. So rustic, again, goes with everything. Rachel's saying, I've been waiting so impatiently for these releases. Me too. I can finally talk about them and share them with you. So excited about this. So this one, it's called Rustic. And so that one goes with everything as well. So this one is lipstick. Now I can show you the sweater that I've been working on. So I am making this sweater, Alpine Bloom. This one is by Caitlin Hunter. And you can see there's some color work happening at the top here, and then it's a bit of a solid body down here. It's meant to be kind of like a t-shirt style. So that's nice, I guess. And because then you don't have to knit sleeves forever. um, the interesting thing about this is that the sleeves are knit with a little bit of lace, and then you graft the lace on to the rest of the body of the sweater. So I'm going to be interested in how that all comes together. But this first section looks like it could be made with handspun, which is where I got this whole idea from. So what I did was I had spun this colorway. This is salted caramel. This is one of our new fiber colors. And so this salted caramel in BFL and silk, I spun this into a, what did I make? I made a 2-ply yarn. Yes, it's a 2-ply yarn. And this is my 2-ply yarn of hand spun salted caramel. It's when you spin, all of the colors kind of blend together and optically mix into this very, very subtle sort of gradient effect. This one is a fractal spun yarn, so 2-ply fractal spun yarn. And then I combined it together with this, which is our BFL and Silk Fine. Again, a fingering weight yarn. It's the same kind of combination. It's blue-faced Leicester wool mixed with silk together, and this is in the Gather colorway. So this is basically this color. But you can see that there's a slight difference in how they look, because this one is Tough Love Sock, so it's got superwash merino in it, and this one, BFL Silk Fine, has no superwash treatment. And so they dye a little bit differently, but still beautiful. The other thing that I decided to do is I had seen people combining mohair with their yarn for this sweater, even though it's a t-shirt. So you would think t-shirt, you want it to be kind of like lightweight, linen-y, all that kind of stuff. But I love the texture of BFL and silk mixed with our silk mist yarn. So what I chose to do is I'm holding for the background and for the body, I'm using Gather in the BFL and Silk Fine, together with a strand of Silk Mist, again, in like the same color. If I could have, mixed it with a slightly darker version of Silk Mist or a slightly lighter version, but I wanted to get these as close as possible, sort of. So this is really lovely. So these two mixed together for the background. And then I wanted to take my salted caramel handspun yarn and then kind of brighten it up or liven it up or just make it pop a little tiny bit more with this. This is crushed berry. So this is from the Element collection. This is one of those clear, bright, really vibrant sort of colors. So this one mixed with this one with my salted caramel. I'm holding these two together for the contrast color for the colorwork yoke. And so the result that I'm getting is this. It's super, super subtle. The color work is really, really subtle, but I absolutely love it. Like, I was really concerned about, would you be able to see the pattern very clearly? Is it going to show up? Let's see. You can kind of see it. Yeah, I think that you can actually see the flowers. You can see it. And then I don't know if you can see it on camera, but like it's fuzzy. It's really fuzzy and it's warm. I don't know if you can, I have to take photos so that you can see the haze on this, but it feels amazing. And I love that it's not this super high contrast popping out sort of color work. I really, really love it. Yes, the low relief look. I'm so in love with this project. I think that I've started a number of different sweaters this year, and I'll get to maybe like just this much and then decide, oh, this is not for me. This is not going to work. I don't like it, blah, 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 blah. But this particular combination has been just amazing. And I think that because I love it so much, it's keeping me going. So every night I've been picking it up, or I take it with me in the car, I take it with me to the island, I took it with me everywhere. And then just like knitting a row or two or five or whatever is enough. And I just keep going and just keep going. So I just have 5 more rounds of color work. And then I can move to the body. Once the body, it's all plain stockinette in the round. Hopefully that will go pretty quick. And then just knitting 2 little strips of lace that I'm going to graft on for the sleeves. And then it would theoretically be done. So I'm in love with this sweater. I think it's a beautiful pattern. I've seen people do amazing things with different color combinations and everything like that. But I think that for just this one, I wanted it to be a little bit more low contrast. And it was really funny because I talk a lot about choosing colors for color work and how there needs to be enough contrast of hue and contrast of value. But I wanted to experiment and try with something that was a little bit lower contrast and see if it would work or not. I mean, this could have worked out terribly, but I do like this. I do like it. So excited to see that one all finished. So that one is the Gather colorway, again, from that new collection that we're working on right now. Yeah, so I would love to see what you guys make with all these deep dark colors and working on them all together and mixing and blending. I do really, really love mixing and blending the different textures together. I think it just makes for beautiful fabric, and really, really looking forward to doing more of that in the future as well. And again, like taking handspun and either knitting with it or weaving with it. Yeah, I have a lot of those kinds of ideas coming up as well. Now, the thing I think that makes me most proud of this particular project is that I have actually never used my handspun in a sweater before. So this is the first, and I think maybe that's why it's become so exciting. It's always been sort of a goal of mine to be able to use my handspun in a sweater, but it always seemed like it was quite overwhelming. So at least this part, this is just the handspun is just in the yoke of the sweater. I haven't yet spun enough yarn to make a whole sweater. It's just, yeah, get distracted by lots of things. So that's kind of what has been going on. Now, one of the things that I wanted to share today with you, but it's a little bit premature, is that in designing all of these color system colors, you know, the element colors with the whole color wheel, and then the elixir colors, the ethereal colors, the lighter colors, and now these darker colors, I redid completely from scratch the color play class that we offer as part of the School of SweetGeorgia. And this is a free class that we had offered since 2017. And this past summer, we decided to revamp the whole thing and do it again from scratch. But it's going to be launched in September. So it's going to be coming in a couple of weeks. And so basically the goal is to help you with learning how the colors combine together, how to combine colors, how to make color combinations, how to play and practice, and all of those kinds of things. So that is going to come up in a couple of weeks, and we'll be able to share more about that when that comes as well. So um, yes, please add handspun and machine knitting with it to your lexicon. Yes, so much more machine knitting. I want to do so much more machine knitting. So much more machine knitting. Just need time. Ah, yes. Now, I wanted to mention one other thing that has been going on in the background that I'm very excited to share about. Um, yeah, it's actually going to be quite amazing. One of the things that I have been doing over the past couple of years is teaching a lot for the School of SweetGeorgia, teaching online. We've all been learning online and at a distance and all these kinds of things. And so 2024, next year, is going to be the first time in a long time that I'm going to go out and do a little bit of teaching. So I'm actually going to be teaching at the Knitting in the Hills retreat in Texas in March of 2024. And this is for Hill Country Weavers. It's a massive, amazing yarn shop down in Texas. And so their registration actually opens tomorrow. So Saturday, August 19th, 10 a.m. Central Time. Registration for the event will open. And so you can find all of this information on the Hill Country Weavers website. But basically, it is going to be a retreat. There's actually been a YouTube video about it by another attendee who made a video about it last year. But there's like a marketplace, there's classes, it's going to be amazing. So it is the 11th annual Knitting in the Hills retreat. It's going to be at the Lakeway Resort and Spa, and it's by Lake Travis. So there's going to be a big sort of there's a lot of knitters that come to this. And so there's also going to be teachers in addition to me. So there's a whole bunch of teachers here. So you can find all the teachers on the website as well. And there's going to be a number of different classes. Basically, the classes that I am going to be teaching are, I'm going to teach spinning from scratch. So if you've not ever touched fiber before, I will help you get started. It is quite a challenging class to teach spinners, to teach people who have not spun before. And so I'm really, really excited about that opportunity. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. So spinning from scratch, that's one of the classes that I'm really, really excited about teaching. Part of the reason is because I think that once you learn how yarn works, how you learn how yarn is constructed, it can change your perspective and outlook in all of the other things that you do, whether it's knitting or crochet or weaving or whatever you do with yarn. Learning about how yarn is made from the very beginning, I think can make a huge difference. I know it made a huge difference for me, and I would love to see people sort of like have that light turned on. So that's one of the classes that we're going to teach. The second class is going to be weaving with knitting yarn, which is a big, it's always like been talked about as a big no-no, but you can actually do it. You can weave with handspun, you can weave with knitting yarn, you can weave with stretchy yarn. What do you need to consider when you do that kind of thing? And so one of the things that we're going to do at this retreat is there's going to be a number of rigid heddle looms, and I believe Suzanne, who's the owner of Hill Country Weavers, is going to do a class where she will work with you on warping the loom, and then I will do a class on what we're going to weave on that warped loom. And so we're going to use and experiment with a whole bunch of different kinds of knitting yarns. What happens if you put in a silk mohair yarn? What happens if you put in a sock yarn? What happens if you put in a handspun yarn? So all of those kinds of experiments and trying things and all that kind of stuff, that's what we're going to work on in that particular class. And then the last thing that I'm going to teach is sort of a lecture or a walk around or a talk about yarn and fiber 101. And it's really about like having an overview of what are the different fibers that go into some of the different yarns that we make. So what is flax? How does linen content affect a yarn? How does silk content affect a yarn? If you want a sock yarn, what are you looking for? If you want a sweater yarn, what are you looking for? What is untreated versus superwash? What is blue-faced Leicester wool versus merino wool versus targhee versus blah, blah, blah? So looking at sort of the whole landscape and spectrum of all the fibers that are available and what the characteristics are so that you can make better choices about what you use in the projects that you make. So those are the three things that I'm going to be working on there. And we're going to be bringing a ton of yarn to the event. So really, really, really very excited about that. I have never been to Texas before. So this is all going to be new for me. Joyce is saying Texas Hill Country Rivers is much closer to me than Vancouver. Yeah, so I would love to see, like, if you guys are able to get yourself to the retreat, then I would love to meet you in person. If you can't make it all the way to Vancouver, I mean, it's always great to connect with other people in the real world. So yeah, very, very excited about that. The last thing that I have to share with you guys is something that arrived on my doorstep. And this is a book that I can't believe we have to like talk about so early, but in fact, this is the perfect time for it. This time is perfect for it. This is a new book that is just arrived on my doorstep, designed by Tanis Gray, and this is called Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, the official knitting guide to Halloween Town and Christmas Town. This is the perfect time to start knitting these particular projects. Basically, all of the projects in here by Tanis Gray have been designed with the theme, The Nightmare Before Christmas, that movie. And it's gorgeous. This book is beautiful. It's hardcover. The photos are amazing. It's quite a substantial book. She used our yarn for one of the projects in here, which is a super cute project. It is this project. It's a little pullover called Barrel's Pullover, and it looks like a little skeleton there. But that is our superwash worsted weight yarn being used in that sweater pattern. I'll show you another photo of it here. That looks so cute. So like a little kid's pullover sweater, and then you add the bones to it, and that would actually be a really cute, that would be a really cute Halloween costume, actually. So that one is designed by Tanis. There's another couple of projects in here that I thought were really cute. So this one here is the actual Jack character knit into a little doll, into a toy, which I think looks amazing. That's one. And then I thought these ones were also really nice. This one is designed by Jacqueline Rivera, and this is Jack's Lament, the song that he sings, you know, near the end. And this is done in mitts. So color work mitts. It's just so beautifully done. And so this one, yeah. So many projects in here that are really, really fun and like, oh, there's right here. There's also socks. These wickedly cute pinstripe socks. So that one is designed by Megan Ann of Lattes and Llamas, and the yarn there is Leading Men Fiber Arts Showstopper. Leading Men Fiber Arts was actually the booth that was right next door to us at H&H in Chicago a couple of months ago. And so we got to meet them and see their yarns, and it's really, really lovely. So that's so cool to see it all knit up into a pair of gorgeous little socks there. Really nice. So this book is now available. Tanis Gray, Nightmare Before Christmas. Lots of beautiful designs in here. Really, really super fun. Lots of great yarn. It's just, this is the perfect time to knit it because it'll be ready for Halloween, ready for Christmas, all of that kind of stuff. So that has been going on here. I would love to know if you guys have been having a good summer and what you guys have been making, what else has been going on. We're very, very chatty in the Discord. So, you know, if you want to continue some of these conversations, you want to talk about machine knitting, you want to talk about light colors, dark colors, choosing colors, working with handspun, weaving with handspun, knitting, crocheting, any of these things, we do have our Sweet Georgia Discord channel, which has been Very, very chatty. Lots of conversations happening in there. All the conversations around the MCAL, the mystery knit along, are also in there as well. I think people are finding each other here in the chat who are in the Discord channel as well. I know many of you guys are also in the Discord channel. So that's a nice place to sort of stay connected while all of these things are going on. And yeah, one of the things I wanted to mention is that we had that fiber arts camp for kids in July, and it turned out great. Like surprisingly great. So Katrina from Crafty Jacks, she was the instructor for our week-long camp, and we had a number of kids come anywhere from the ages of 7 to about 13, I think. And the girls learned how to wet felt a bar of soap. They learned to needle felt. They learned to crochet. They learned to knit. They did some weaving. One of the goals was to weave a bookmark with their own hand spun. They used 3D printed drop spindles, Turkish drop spindles, and they learned to spin, draft and spin a little bit of fiber. It was quite amazing to watch all of these kids learn over the course of a week. And even Nina, like my daughter, who is 7, I taught her how to knit and do knit stitches and things like that before. But it was amazing to watch her learn how to bind off her own project. She bound off her knitting. She knit a square in garter stitch, and then she did the bind off, and then Katrina taught her how to sew it into a little bunny, like a little stuffed toy. That was amazing. She learned to crochet, and then just maybe 2 weeks ago, we got together with a whole bunch of friends that we've all known, for a long time, since our prenatal days, our prenatal group, and a lot of those kids also learned how to crochet. And they sat around and they were crocheting together. And Nina was already super confident. She was like, "Oh, I can help you. I know how to do that." It's been amazing to watch kids pick up some of these fiber arts and be exposed to the different fiber arts and see what they pick and choose and what they like. And all of that has been really, really fun to watch people learn, to watch people absorb new skills and ideas and just have these light bulbs go off in their head. And to watch all of that is amazing. So I'm really glad we did that. I wanted to thank Katrina for helping with all of that as well. Greta, who's on the call here on the chat here, she helped organize a lot of that week as well. And so I appreciate you guys all for putting this together so that way we could offer this to young people, and get people started on this lifelong journey of fiber arts and collecting yarn. So thank you so much for that. It is wonderful to see you guys all in the chat here. And yes, if you guys want to join our Discord, Greta's posted a link there so that you can join us and continue with all of this conversation. So thank you guys so much for being here. I love coming here to chat with you all. And if anybody is in the school, we are doing our 1 p.m. co-working session, 1 o'clock today, Pacific Standard Time, and I will be back and working on some other things there. So if you want to join us in the school, now is absolutely the time to join us as well. So schoolofsweetgeorgia.com. And if you want to see the new colors, those new Enigma colors, the deep dark colors, those are all available right now on sweetgeorgiayarns.com as well. So with that, I will see you guys next month. September will be our 18th anniversary for Sweet Georgia. So that's going to be crazy. So the second Friday of every month is when we do these live streams. So I will see you guys all in September. All right. Bye for now.